Hey guys, what's up? It's Mercedes Michelle, and today we're going to be talking about moving out and how to afford moving out on your own. So in my previous adulting one-on-one video, we did talk about moving out and the things you need to know when it comes to choosing an apartment or, trying to find an apartment, what to expect, the fees that go into it. Now we're going to talk about how to afford all of those fees that do go into moving out and finding your own place, apartment, or whatever the case may be. So if you guys want to know more about just affording the move out, keep on watching this video. So you guys, I was able to move out at 18, but I did have a roommate at the time when I first moved out. Now we can talk about that all day, but in reality, when you move out, you have to feel like you have to be able to afford it by yourself. And I say that because so much can happen. A lot of times we move out and we get roommates and we don't really like that situation that we're in, and we think that we would, but things happen, people change. It's so different when you live with different people, different personalities. You just never know what to expect. So my advice first to you would be, if you can afford to move out on your own solely by yourself, consider that. And if you can't, be able to save in the case of the what if. So if you and your roommate don't get along, you both didn't sign the lease, one of you signed the lease, the other one didn't, and now one's moving out and you're having to afford this place by yourself, or you're having to look for another roommate. In the meantime, you're still going to have to probably try to afford this place by yourself. Consider that, because we live in 2018 and stuff happens, let's be honest, or something can happen to the point where you have to afford a place by yourself. So you have to be able to afford a place by yourself. It's cool to have roommates. Save in the time that you do have them, save as much as you can, so when you do move out on your own, you won't be struggling or having to worry so much. So we got that little shady stuff out the way. Let's get into how to afford your own place. Now, it's not rocket science. We need jobs, you need money, you need income, and income comes from jobs. It comes from, your financial aid if you're in college. It comes from you working your part-time job, whether you're busting tables, you're waitressing, you're getting those tips. Whatever you're doing to make that income is necessary when you move out. Like, you're going to have to keep this up, and it's not going to be a time where you can say, oh, I'm just going to take a break from work and I'm just going to chill because I'm at my parents' house and I really don't have no bills, or I really don't have to give them the money if they know that I'm not working. No, when you get out in the real world and you got bills, those bills don't stop when you want to take a break. So make sure you're on a job that will be consistent, that a job that you just don't just dread and can't not stand. Because I know a lot of times, let's be honest, a lot of times we don't like the jobs we're at, but I think it's levels. Like, it's bad, but it ain't that bad to make me want to be like, I'm walking out today. So just keep that in mind. Have a strong foundation as to yourself. Like, just be built up to the point where you know that you can afford this apartment through the good, the bad, the ugly. Because there will be good times, there will be bad times, there will be ugly times, and you still got bills. You still got bills. Income is the most important thing. If you have a main job, have a side job, because it's going to allow for you to save in the meantime. If you have parents that finance you great, but still have another source of income that you can save in the case your parents cut you off, or they're like, look, I can't do it this month. You have to be the responsible adult and have the income to back up your financial responsibilities, including your bills at home in your apartment. Now that's basic stuff, and it's like, okay, I gotta work. Okay, I get that. But before you even decide to move out on your own, you should be saving. Anybody responsibly ready to move out on their own, or even think that it's coming, or even know that the relationship you have at home is not perfect, or you know that any day could be your day where your parents say you got to go, you need to be saving. And a lot of times, some of us are not fortunate enough to save. We have to go, we have to get out. It's like nothing we can do about it. That type of move out is very stressful, and you definitely want to make sure that you have some type of financial stability, that you're working a good job, or you're bringing in good income, dependable income, because you're going to have to be searching for an apartment quick, fast, and in a hurry, and you may end up in an apartment that may be expensive, that you may not have had the opportunity to sit down and say, can I afford this apartment? You're probably just running on, like, I need a place. I don't care what it is, where it is, how much it is, I need it. And that is the most stressful move. So if you do have the option to sit down, to speak with your parents about bills, to, get a savings going, to go out in your area and look for apartments and price the places around you, and then come back and sit down and write it down, and write down all your expenses along with that apartment, and then you can see, can I afford this apartment? So I always recommend, a lot of times we like to do stuff fast, just in the spur of the moment, but you really have to be responsible with this, especially if it's your first time moving out, a first apartment. Be responsible about it. Don't think that you got to have all this top-notch new granite, stainless steel, wood cabinets in your first apartment, because that's just not what it's gonna be. It shouldn't be that. But if you can afford that, then hey, so be it. But even if you can't afford it, be mindful of, this is not where I plan on being for the rest of my life, or even next year. This is just what's going to do it for me right now. You don't have to have all that fancy stuff. You just need to make sure it's safe, and it's clean, and it's for you, and you don't have to impress anybody else. It's going to be your own personal space, your own personal little shindig, what you got going on, and it shouldn't matter what no one else likes. It should just be what you like and what you can afford. I always recommend to have multiple sources of income with anything, with a car purchase, with an apartment. You need to have multiple sources of income. What do you do? How do you get creative? What do you like to do that can make you some money? Think about stuff like that. Oh, well, I don't have time. I'm a full-time college student. I work full-time. Been there, done that, and a parent. So there's really no excuses. It's 24 hours in a day. The only thing that holds us back is ourselves, because I'm too tired. I don't want to do it. I'll do it later. I'm the biggest procrastinator there is. I can admit to that. But it's something that I'm working on, so don't judge me. Back to the savings, because I feel like this needs to be touched on. I'm a financial planner. I budget everything. I save for expenses in the future, and this has literally saved my life. So I have to touch on it more than once for you guys so you can understand, because a lot of times it takes us a couple of more times to hear it to really understand. It's really good for you to sit down and plan for your expenses. Don't just jump in them and do them. Plan for them so your process can go smoother and it won't feel as stressful. So for me, I'm moving. I'm going to have a moving sinking fund. If I know that I'm currently renting, I know my rent is this, but I'm thinking about going up at least $300 in my rent. I'm putting that rent, that extra $300, I'm saving for it. And let's say someone like me, I've been in an apartment, I have a lease, I know when my lease is up. My lease is up in, let's say, December. I would start in January of that following year, so January 2018, because I know my lease is up December 2018 and I want to move. So therefore, January 2018, I'm saving whatever amount I need to save to get to that extra $300 a month. So what you're going to do is $300 times 12 months, because there's 12 months in a year. Your rent is going up $300 a month. So then I'm going to take 300, I'm going to times that by 12. That number comes out to be whatever that number comes out to be. I ain't finna do the math for y'all today, but I'll do it on my phone real quick. So it comes out to $3,600. So I need $3,600 by the end of December, by the time December comes, because I want to have that extra money for my rent for the following year. I don't want to be trying to take every month when it comes from different places because I don't have the money to actually afford the rent, or I'm going to have to adjust my budget, or I'm going to have to change things because I did not save for this money. So I'm going to have to save an extra $300 every month, so when that rent does come, then I'll be prepared for it. Now, in the case that you start saving 2 years in advance and you know you're wanting to move into a house from an apartment, then you're kind of going to know that your rent is going to go up. So you can save whenever you're thinking about moving. You can start saving right then and there, because it just prepares you better. And I just use that as an example. It's probably a poor example, but I hope you guys kind of get where I'm going. The most important thing here is to save. Save, save, save. If you're moving out in 6 months from your parents' house, start saving that very first month you've decided that you're wanting to move out, because you're going to just put yourself in a better position to move out, and you're not going to just jump into something that you cannot afford. And write it down. Write down your expenses every single month for 6 months, and by the time that 6 months come, you should be more prepared than you would have been if you did not start then. And you're just writing down things that you normally pay for, whether you pay for gas, whether you're moving to an apartment. You're going to see, what's that distance from my job to this apartment, what's that distance from my school to this apartment, how is this going to interrupt the amount of money I spend in gas, how is this going to save me money for gas. You have to consider all of those things. If you plan on, you're already planning like, hey, I'm going to get an apartment close to school, I'm going to get an apartment close to my job, so I won't be really spending as much money as driving from my parents' house, having to drive all the way to school, having to drive all the way to my job. I can just save and get somewhere closer. So that's going to actually save you some money. So that money that it's going to save you, you can start saving that money for something else. And it just continues and goes on. If you guys have not watched my sinking funds, or you have not watched my budget videos, make sure you check those out, especially if you're wanting to move out, because it's just going to be an extension of this video and how it will help you guys save money to afford your move. I think that's the most important thing. You could make all the money in the world. Okay, that's a little exaggerated, but you can make enough money, but if you don't save this money, and you're not able to save this money, you're not able to be financially responsible, it's not going to benefit you when it's time to move out, because you're going to be living a paycheck to paycheck, meaning like every month your money's every 2 weeks or every month, every 1st or 15th, your money's going to be gone, and you're going to have to wait to the next paycheck, and then wait to the next paycheck. And that's not the way to live. You don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. You want to be able to have some type of financial freedom, to the point where I paid all my bills. I even saved and paid myself first, and I still got some money left over to go out and have a drink, or to go out and hang out with my friends, to go to dinner, to go to lunch. That's the type of living you want to do, because honey, when I tell you these bills out here are stressful, they're stressful, and you don't want to add that extra stress to yourself where you're not having fun, you're not being able to live because you're too busy having to pay bills, you're having to be at work 24/7 because you need the extra income to pay these bills. So you definitely want to be able to live comfortably, but still be able to have fun and enjoy your life, because you're young. A lot of you guys moving out for the first time, you're young and you still want to live, but you want to be able to live in your own space. So I get it. Biggest thing to you guys is save as much as you can before you move out, especially if you don't have any type of bills outside of, little bills here and there. You don't have no major bill like rent. You should be saving at least 30% of your income. And I say 30% because I'm being nice, but if you want to move out, you should just be saving as much as you can, and that's the biggest advice I can give to anyone. And it may sound cliche, it may sound like, oh, I've heard this all before, but you honestly need to sit down, price the apartments in your area, price from highest to lowest, from middle, write your expenses with each price you get, and figure out how much money you need to be saving until you move out and get your own place. But that's all I have for you guys today, just to come and talk to you guys and stress the importance of saving and really knowing that this can benefit you the most. When people ask, well, how do I afford to move out? The biggest thing is to save before you move out. That is the biggest thing. And when you do that, it'll get a lot easier. It'll be a lot easier. Those checks that you're getting once you move out is kind of, you can still save a little bit of those, but you still have money to spend because you've already saved this amount. That it makes it easier. That doesn't mean move out and stop saving. It means you're going to move out. You're going to be in an advantage to continue to save, but to also live. So I hope this video was anything but helpful. If you didn't get any helpful tips, if it was stuff that you've already heard before, I hope if it motivated you at least to save or to continue to save and to understand that this is an important factor when you do move out. But hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell while you're down there, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.